I think the real title of this video should be Idiot Talks Expertly on Things That They Know Nothing About. It is 3 days before Halloween and we're still on the scary / spooky theme of this month, so I decided let's do a video on all the horror movies I haven't seen, because I know nothing about horror movies or thrashers or any of these very scary Halloween type movies. That's just not the kind of stuff that I grew up on. My friends didn't watch it, so I just never got to this point, and now I'm an adult and it's like shameful. It's almost like something that you just don't say at all and just say, oh yeah, I watched it, sure, right, because everybody knows what it is, but I don't. It's sad. This video is dedicated to all of the horror movies that I have not seen, but will see in the future, hopefully near future, but we just don't know what's gonna happen then. So the premise of this video is I have not seen any of these movies personally. I've seen either clips of them, like little flashes of them, I've heard of them, I know vaguely about them, and I've read the a very short synopsis that's provided by IMDb. That is all that I know about it. I don't know exactly what happens in the movie. I mean, I'll know bits and pieces of it, like say for instance if I hadn't watched Silence of the Lambs, I knew that it was going to be about Hannibal Lecter. That's just a thing that you know right off the bat from reading synopses and talking to people about your shameful not things that you haven't watched. But yeah, this rating is also based on the fear factor, on how scared I would be watching these movies, and again, this is just surface level judging. It's not at all what these films are worth. Like these movies are worth a lot in the community, and I understand that. I'm just having a little fun, you know? So I have 10 movies that I haven't watched. It's pretty embarrassing, but we're gonna start with number 10, which is going to be on my list of rankings. Like all of these are, okay, I'm not saying that one of these is better than the other because I haven't watched any of these yet, and once I watch them, maybe I'll do another video on how I would rank them differently. But this is just based off of pure speculation and like, I don't even know what happens. I don't know. All of these movies are iconic and like standalone films that, I mean, some of them are like chronicles, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just something that I'm just doing on speculation alone. I might get a lot of hate for this, but we're just gonna go with it and figure it out. So we're gonna start with number 10, which is The Grudge. Now, just don't, like, my explanation for this is not gonna be very learned or informative, but it just doesn't look like a very original movie. I mean, I don't know if it's original is the right word. It's probably more along the lines of just a movie that I wouldn't be as interested in. It's based on the IMDb synopsis that I have. It's a detective that's investigating a cold case, and basically this ghost comes back to haunt them, I guess. I don't know. That's how most things work, and based on the title, The Grudge, and the picture of the very creepy woman with her hair like Cousin It, yeah, it's just not something that I would think would be very scary to me. Number 9 on my list is going to be The Conjuring. I think that this concept is very unoriginal. I don't think it's gonna be very scary. I don't think that the fear factor is very high for this, but you know, people like it, so we're just gonna, yeah, I don't know. It's basically this creepy house that is haunted, kind of like Beetlejuice. Guess that's mostly of it. I just don't think it would be very scary to me because I would understand, like, I just, yeah, I don't think that, just based off of it, it looks creepy and it looks really scary, but I just don't think it would be very interesting to me. Like, I wouldn't be very engaged in it. Number 8 is gonna have to be The Evil Dead. This is a Stephen King novel, so it's like something that there's credit there where credit is due, you know, but Stephen King also wrote a book that was adapted into a TV movie that is horrible. I'm not even gonna say the name because it's not worth it. Possession? I don't know. It'd be scarier to me, like, it would be scarier to me that people get possessed than a ghost coming and like haunting people in a mansion. I guess the more realistic expectation that you have of it is the more scarier it can be. So yeah, number 8 would have to be The Evil Dead. It just doesn't look like, the poster doesn't even look that scary. It just, yeah, Yeah. Number 7 is gonna have to be Poltergeist, and I know what I said about it being more scary if it's more realistic scenario, like people getting possessed rather than just ghosts, but Poltergeist is what I understand to be one of the more distinctive horror movies because of the look that it has, and just based on the poster alone, it has a very distinct style and way of showing things that aren't real. You can tell that I don't know anything about these movies at all. Next, we're moving on to number 6. I think we're on number 6. Yeah. So we're going to move on to number 6, which is going to be the Blair Witch Project. This is probably one of the movies that I know more about than anything because it's so iconic because people actually thought this was real. I think that's why it gets to be so high on the list, is because people actually thought it was real and, you know, were scared of what the contents of it was. It was kind of funny how they labeled it and marketed it as a documentary when in reality it's not, but it was filmed like a documentary and it looked like found footage. So yeah, I have to give it credit for that, and that kind of just set the bar for other horror movies in the now present. Now we're in the top 5. We're getting a little bit more exciting here. We're getting a little bit more content and things. We're now at the halfway point. This is where we're at currently. And if you've made it this far and you really like what I'm saying and maybe what I'm doing here, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. It really helps me out and defeats the YouTube algorithm for me, and lets me know that you actually like what I'm doing and putting out. So consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video so that I know to make more of these very dumb videos of me just talking about stuff that I don't know anything about. So we're gonna move on to number 5, and that's gonna be Halloween. The reason why this is on number 5 is because I've heard that this is the first movie in Hollywood to basically create the genre of slasher films, and that has a lot of merit to it. It might not be the best horror movie in the world, but it being the first slasher film, that's pretty much, like, that's a lot. That's saying a lot. And yeah, it really raises the bar for Hollywood and creators in general. The next one is number 4, and it's gonna have to be The Ring. I like the poster. I don't know what else to say. The poster looks really cool, and I've heard from people who have watched it, they really liked it, they really enjoyed it. I guess maybe it's more of a tame horror movie. I don't know. None of these are very tame or like safe for children, you know. It's just not that kind of movie, but I don't know, it just looks cool. Like the concept and the name, it just gets you, it gets me. I think it'd be super scary to watch. Like, not super scary, but just scary enough. Maybe, just based on the premise of it and what is happening in the poster, which is not a lot, but you know, they know how to market themselves, they know how to get you. So number 3 is gonna be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I really like the title of this. I think that's most of the reason why it's so high on my list, is because I really like the title of it and just how you get the place, the setting, what's gonna happen in all the title, and it's cool and it sounds cool. And you know when you would tell horror stories around camp, when it's like the axe murderer, it's basically like this reimagined in Texas. It's great. I really want to watch it. And then number 2 is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street. The reason why this is number 2 is because it's Wes Craven, and I really like Wes Craven. Also because it's about Freddy Krueger, and that's one of the scariest people in movie history of all time. It's pretty cool. It was giving me a lot of like Edward Scissorhands vibes, and I like that kind of concept, so just based on this, I think yeah. I think I'd really like it. And we have number 1, which is going to have to be The Exorcist for me. I've heard so much about this movie, and what I've just been hearing is super cool and interesting, and like most of these movies that I'm talking about are like made in the 70s, where we didn't have CGI, a lot of it. This is all pre-Jurassic Park, so CGI had not really made its way into film as well, and this is just all practicals or like very cool camera tricks that you can do. And the fact that this is all very attainable stuff is super cool to me, so I think The Exorcist would be super cool because you get the floating body with wires and stuff instead of just weird CGI. It looks so cool. Yeah, that's my ranking. It's really not the greatest ranking system in the world, but those are all the movies that I would rank in order of not the best versus the worst, but what I would like versus what I would not like. This is by no means comprehensive. It's just me rambling and talking about thrasher films and slasher. Wow. It's just me talking about slasher films and knowing nothing about them. I do want to say at the end of this that I do appreciate and I really appreciate all of the filmmakers who went into making all of these movies that I just listed. Super iconic, and like, it's not really something that I would watch, but it would be something that I know a lot of people watch. It's a very niche genre. A lot of people like it during Halloween especially, and it's just, it was never my thing. But I do plan on watching all of these movies. It's just that I haven't gotten around to it at this moment. And yeah, I feel really dumb after talking for that long on something that I don't know anything about. It's very humbling. It's a very humbling experience, and I'm not really sure what's gonna happen to me after this. It's gonna be a very interesting ordeal. Happy Halloween, by the way. It's the 29th, and it's like, what would that be? 29, 30, 31, like 2 or 3 days, we'll say 2 days, 2 days before Halloween. Yeah, the question for this video is going to be, what is your Halloween costume this year? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll have my Halloween costume down there, so if you want to know more about that, check that out down there. But, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday, and I'll see you on the other side of the screen. Or maybe not.